It's unfair to our neighbors to have these kind of mass operations dragging people out of cars and homes. It's not American.
ICE operations were recently confirmed in Hayes County, and what do you think about the increased activity?
I'm very troubled by them. All of us want the bad ones, the really troubling criminals out of our community if they came here or they've been here all along. But ICE is going out and deliberately causing violent situations. The killing of this woman in Minnesota, the injury of people in our own area, these are troubling incidents that don't need to occur. Apparently in Hayes County, none of the local law enforcement was even told this operation was underway. It's unfair to them, it's unfair to our neighbors to have these kind of mass operations dragging people out of cars and homes. It's not American. We need to focus on those who committed wrongdoing, but not on those who are contributing to our community but lack the proper documents to be here.
In Kyle, the authorities said that a person was actually hurt by ICE while being detained.
That's what we're seeing all over the country. Deliberate instances, whether in the person detained or the many neighbors who are out there saying, why are you taking this person away from us who's contributing, who's working hard in our community? They haven't committed any crimes. Why don't you let them stay and contribute and focus on those President Trump said he would focus on, but now it's sort of anyone he can find to deport from our country, and we're all the loser as a result.
Yesterday, Senator Cornyn introduced the ICE Protection Act, which would increase penalties for people who assault/harm federal law enforcement. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think our laws are perfectly adequate now with regard to assault on any individual. Certainly, I don't support assaulting law enforcement officers. I want to see all of our laws properly enforced. But in this case, I'm finding in talking to colleagues in Portland and Chicago and Minneapolis that ICE seems to be there to stir up trouble rather than to prevent it.
Are you concerned about the rhetoric around?
I'm greatly concerned.
On both sides.
What I'm mostly concerned about is building an atmosphere of anti-immigrant hysteria. The comments that President Trump have made are extremely troubling. They encourage the kind of incidents that we've had. Militarizing our cities. President Trump's own words that he wanted our cities to be used by our military as training grounds for what I think is eventual suppression of his political opponents. So yes, I think that my message to those who are protesting is rely on the power of nonviolence. Don't get yourself into a situation where violence goes up, because that will only help President Trump in his desire to invoke the Insurrection Act and suppress Americans. And to those who work for ICE, there are many dedicated people there, but follow the law. Work to turn down the temperature in these situations instead of engaging in conduct that encourages only more violence.
Some of your colleagues have called for ICE to be held accountable for their actions.
Absolutely. And
how do you do that, being that you're in the minority party?
Well, first is trying to rely on our court system. In Minneapolis, it is clear that this administration hasn't the slightest interest in an independent investigation, because that investigation will probably show that their rhetoric has been misplaced. Kristi Noem condemned the woman, mother of three, who had just told the ICE officer she wasn't mad at them, to call her a domestic terrorist. I think that's outrageous. That's one of the reasons, and the way Kristi Noem has engaged in misconduct, that I've called for her impeachment. She should have no place in our government. She's doing a disservice. She's making our families less safe, not more safe.
Are you worried as ICE escalates its tactics that the agents are seemingly operating as if they don't have to follow any rules?
That's exactly right. They're encouraged by the President, by Secretary Noem, that they are power unto themselves and that they have absolute immunity to do anything they want to do. They do not have that immunity. And what we need, when state law enforcement officers in Minneapolis are excluded from the investigation, when Kristi Noem announces the result of the investigation before it has even begun, you know that this is an attempt to cover up instead of to open up to the public any transparency that is necessary to know what actually happened here. I want people to follow the law. I want the protesters to follow the law, but I understand their outrage, and I want ICE to stop provoking more violence.
How frustrating for you as a lawmaker is it that ICE has not been very transparent in anything it's doing?
Well, what we can do is continue to demand more information from them. We are doing that. We are pressing vigorously. And the next thing is with regard to appropriations for ICE. The Department of Homeland Security, through the big ugly bill, got funding for ICE for an extended period of time. But we have appropriation bills coming up again, and I do not plan to vote for appropriations that will support any expansion of ICE operations. We have to have border security. We can't allow everyone who wants to come to this country to come here. But we also should recognize the value of those people who are here, who are contributing, who are providing jobs in construction, in healthcare, in services industries, who are doing all they can to provide for their families and are contributing to our whole community. It does not benefit us to have ICE go drag someone like that out of their house or attack them when they go to church or to their school or to a healthcare facility. We've got to put a stop to that. And the best way, you mentioned the Democratic minority, the best way is to get a new Congress that won't put up with this nonsense.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and get the latest news by downloading the CBS Austin News app.